All right. Welcome to the ZeroFunction Podcast, where no brain cells are present. I am one of your hosts, Genevieve, and this is my co-host, CONALL.
Hello.
So today we're going to be going over some, would you call them paranormal stories?
Maybe true crime, maybe something along those lines, you know.
Yeah. I definitely did go more like the paranormal route than, what do you call it, true crime.
Paranormal is more interesting, I would say.
Yeah. It was just really hard to find the difference between what someone like made up, which is like a really good story, or actual case files.
Well, like movie stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Because a lot of the stories I read, I was like, oh, that's good. But then you could tell it was almost like two things. They were like, I heard this noise. I whispered. And I was just like...
Yeah, like creative stories that you'd write in secondary school or something.
Yeah. You're like, you know what? This would get an A+ in English.
Yeah.
So I've got some short ones to start off with. And then we're going to go into, some medium ones, have a bit of a discussion. And then we've just got your general... mysteries, I guess we're going to go into. So the first three stories I have, always good, based with children.
I don't like when you mention children.
Children always see the weirdest shit. Like, it's always got to be like the kids or the animals that let you know when something's up.
Yeah, I mean, like it's in many cultures. People are like, oh yeah, children, they can see like spirits and shit, Or it's like what some people believe. They say it's because like kids' minds are more open to everything else, where like our minds are more like, it's fake. Yeah, a lot more skepticism than adults.
Not gonna lie, I was pretty skeptic with the... Actually, before we start these stories, have you ever had any paranormal experiences?
I think I've had two. One was when I was at like the first house I lived in. I was probably like, I don't know, like 4, maybe 5, probably 5 about. And I saw like, it was the middle of the night, and like right in the hallway, it was like pitch black, and then there was like a blinding kind of like light in the doorway. And it wasn't really much to it. It kind of looked like a figure of some sort, like a human figure. And my mum the other day was like, oh yeah, maybe it was grandma or something, because I think
that's always the worst when they're like, oh, it's your relative. Like,
yeah, because I think my grandmother had died 2-3 years prior to that. So I'm like, maybe. I didn't really know. Hey, what's up? How you hanging? And then I think no one was like, I thought I saw like a ghost dog in the current house I'm in, like, but everybody's like, you're just fucking off your chops, and I'm like,
realistically, it's just your dog just like zooming through the house.
I don't think we had the dog then. We didn't have the current dog at the time, so I don't know. Could have been a dog. Freaked me the hell out.
Bit sketch. Yeah, see, apparently in our current house we have 2 according to one of my old friends, I don't know how 100% this is, but according to her and her entire family, she was born like she can see ghosts and spirits. Everyone in her family, because when she told me this, I was like, all right, because I don't want to discard anyone, but like even her whole family was like, yeah, like she can see these. And when she came over to my house for the first time, she was like, so, you have 2, like, spirits chilling in your garage.
Nah, that's when you kick her out.
She, like, actually wouldn't stay the night because she was just scared of these, like, spirits. Because we always used to joke around, because I think the people that used to own our house beforehand, it was an elderly couple, and her husband died, and so she sold the house because it was too big for just her. So we always kind of... not joked around, but we always said like, oh yeah, he was still in the house, blah blah. And then when she came around, she's like, yeah, there's this like old man that's like in your garage. And then apparently some like guy in his 20s also like hangs around the house.
Do you think she somehow like had information in your house before she showed up, just to be like, it. yeah, there's definitely a spirit in here. Oh, elderly couple, yeah. I
mean, not gonna lie, she was crazy enough where she probably could have, but I highly doubt it. But yeah, so and then the only thing that's really sort of happened though is we had some paintings hanging up downstairs and they fell off the wall and shattered, but at the same time this house was also built in like 1970 something. So
Well, you know, just an earthquake, you know.
yeah, I mean, we live on the highway as well, so like trucks going past, the house shakes all the time.
Oh, right, yeah.
But that painting had been hanging for like numerous years, but maybe it was just slowly, you know, itching its way to fall off the wall, but it was just super sketch. My mum sometimes sees like dark figures in the hallway, but again, that could just be shadows, but...
Maybe you're just going to get murdered soon. Like,
yeah, maybe. Maybe he's just like, you know what? It's your time. You're out. But yeah, so into the stories, starting with the first one. These ones are literally, you know, like your Reddit stories, pretty much. That's what the first one sort of follow along the line of. There is this ghost of a young boy who lives in our house that guests have seen. We've rent from the original owner and there is no bad history, but dozens of people have seen him walking up and down around stairs. I leave my phone on the nightstand at night and I often wake up to find hundreds of scribbles upon my notepad when I awake.
Yeah,
See,
I don't
so,
like
you know,
that.
Super short, super sweet. How would you feel like legitimately if you had a ghost like walking around, like you knew?
Well, how big was the family? Did it say? So I wasn't paying attention very well.
No, it doesn't. It just says, you know, we live in the house, we rent from the original owners. Apparently nothing's happened there. Like this is no bad history, so I assume that means like no murders or anything.
Is there not like a child in the family or something that could be it?
No. I'm just
thinking...
assuming this is your, you know, average everyday family. They're just chilling. Imagine if it's just like their toddler and they're like,
Yup.
ooh.
toddler learning how to write and they're just ignoring it like, it's a demon.
It's demons, Jim.
Oh god. Yeah, that wouldn't be great. No.
But yeah, I actually heard something along the same lines of this. I mean, I didn't have the story written down, but it was a news thing. This woman said that this family used to live there and a young boy like tragically died from, I don't know, some sort of flu, something or other. And when they bought the house, they sold all the possessions, and apparently the spirit of the young boy was like super mad. And he was like just wrecking everything, except he just, apparently they kept hearing him say that he wants his bed, so they bought the child's bed back and kept it in the attic, and then the ghost just like chilled. They were like, you know what, it's fine, we don't care we have a ghost in our house because he's just a little boy that just wants his bed. Chill.
See, that's interesting because I think along the lines of what I know, or what's believed to be, is that there's only certain like types of ghosts or beings, spiritual beings, or whatever you want to call them, that will like write down and they'll interact in different ways. Because like everybody knows, like a poltergeist is gonna chuck some shit across your room, and you're gonna be like, please no.
Yeah.
But like I think, from what I know, maybe like demons and another one or something, from what's believed to be ones that write down, like in books and stuff, or write shit down. It's like or you don't want a demon in your house, because that's like one of the worst beings you could have if it were to be true.
Malicious spirits.
Yeah, malicious spirits. You don't want one of those.
Because like that's like, do you believe that all spirits were like people that once lived, or do you think there's the whole like angels and demons thing? Or do you even believe in spirits at all?
No, I don't really. I'm open to, if there was reasonable enough evidence, I'd be like, cool, you know, it becomes factual then. But I'm like, you know, it's the whole thing with like aliens and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, you know, through the means of science and theory, like it's likely that there are aliens out there, whatever form they take, whether it's carbon based or some other bullshit along those lines. But with ghosts or spiritual beings, you don't really have any form of solidified theory to, you know, follow or understand.
Yeah, because I guess with spirits, it also, like, if you believe that all spirits were like people that lived, then you also have to believe in like heaven and hell and things like that, because they say that spirits are people who have unfinished business, so they're kind of like in purgatory. So I guess if you don't believe that there's something after, it's like, how can they be someone that lived if there's nothing like to go to afterwards?
I mean, I don't think so necessarily that it has to be like Christianity orientated or something like that. Because, you know, you've got like Buddhism and you've got like reincarnation and stuff.
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah.
You know, like Eastern countries and stuff, they've got a lot of stuff. They've got a lot of beliefs related in like spiritualism and stuff, and like, you know, just like other spirit worlds and stuff, not necessarily, you know, actual heaven and hell.
On that as well, with like spirit worlds and things like that, do you believe it, like the whole like, oh, the gods are punishing us, like when like massive things have happened, you know, like natural disasters and things like that, they're always like, it's the gods.
I mean, you know,
you're like,
it's kind of just like, yeah, I doubt. It's hard to say, you know. I don't think there's like God or gods, you know, but you know, there could just be a higher being who's just like flexing, which is just like an alien civilization.
I mean, that's highly likely.
That's like really fucking advanced, and we just don't have the capability to understand it in any way.
Well, see, that's the thing with the aliens as well. They're like, oh, they're these, you know, if there are beings out there, they're probably like millions of years, like way more advanced than us. Because, I mean, look at space and then look at how old humans are. Like, we're like toddlers to the adults. We don't understand.
Yeah, I don't remember how old our solar system is, so I won't even touch that.
Yeah, I was like, I just know it's
honestly.
way older, but yeah, I mean, I'm way too naive to even talk about that sort of topic. But I mean, we can research it and talk about it further into our next thing. But yeah, back to the actual story.
Yeah, got a bit off track there, you know, as usual.
How would you feel about having a like spirit in your house? Like, would you be that person that's like, nah, exercise the house, or I'm moving, or would you be like, he just wants his bed, you know, he can chill?
I'm not. See, that's kind of hard to say, because you think you'll be that person who's like, yeah, if it's a nice spirit, you know, yeah, I'll keep it in the house. I'll be nice to it. But I think the thing about that is that you're gonna constantly have that thought in the back of your head, like, there is a spirit in here, and I don't know if it's just gonna randomly change its mind.
Yeah, and you could like accidentally anger it.
Yeah, because it would be hard to tell when you've angered it as well, I think, because, you know, like what people think about spirits and whatnot, they're also very adept in the theory at like mental manipulation and shit. Not just like physical.
Yeah.
Like, they will fuck up your mind. It's like
insane.
it could be too late,
Yeah.
you know, to make a move or get like exercised or something. And it's like, not quite about that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially, like, what if they don't want people knowing? You're like, oh, yeah, there's a ghost in our house. And they're like, you told on me.
Yeah, they might not like that.
Yeah, and they're just like, nah, we're nuts.
It's like, bruh, fuck you, man.
But yeah, second story. So that one was about, like, having a kid in the house. But this one's about kids seeing ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, one night when my daughter was 2.5 years old, we were home alone talking right before bed. We were playing a game where we were giving all her stuffed animals silly names. We named all the animals, and then she said, what's her name? I said something along the lines of, who, honey? We already named everyone. Then she points to a blank wall and says, that little girl. Now I'm not sure if it's just an overactive imagination or something. All I know is that it freaked me out long enough to not sleep with the lights off for the next few weeks.
Yes, it's just not great, but one of the things that comes to my mind about children, you know, seeing ghosts or spirits or whatever, is like, you might want to get your kid diagnosed, maybe checked out if they have like maybe something along the lines of schizophrenia, you know?
like, dude, get her head checked.
Dude, those sound like some schizophrenia, like schizophrenic symptoms, my dude. Like, oh, took my pills, now my best friend's gone.
I mean, pretty much. Like, kids being susceptible to seeing things because, like, they're more naive and things like that. But genuinely, like, I as a kid, I mean, obviously I probably don't remember a lot of things as a kid, but I don't remember doing any, like, weird things like that. And, I mean, I had my uncles and things pass away when I was younger. So, you know, if anyone was supposed to come to me, that was the time. I never had anyone show up. So hearing stories like this, I'm
unless
just like,
your uncles hated you. Oh,
shit, family trauma.
Yikes. It's a bit of yikes.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, like, genuinely, that's just, couldn't I've heard so many people talking about like, oh yeah, such and such visited me in my sleep. Like, if my family member came back to me in my sleep, I'd be like, don't bother coming back, man.
No, but I've already like, well, I was saying before with those two stories of how like maybe a paranormal experience, like an actual experience, I could technically like correlate between because I've had sleep paralysis briefly. That shit ain't fun. And if you like take that and imagine it actually happening, it's like, no, I didn't even see the like whatever being was coming at me in the sleep paralysis, which was fortunate because I stopped it before it happening. But I could hear the footsteps coming down the hallway to me, which was just as terrifying. It was not great when you can't move and you're like, maybe not,
Dude,
go away.
Those people, I mean, this will also play into some stories I have later, but like those people who purposely are like, oh my god, sleep paralysis sounds fun. What is wrong with you?
I mean, it's definitely interesting, but it ain't fun, to be honest. It just ain't.
It's like with horror movies. I like horror movies that make you think, but things that are just like out and out messed up, like, no, I don't want to. And like, people are like, yeah, let's go out to this like abandoned, I don't know, whatever. You're just like, why? Do you want to die? Like, what?
I mean, it can be kind of fun in its own way, even though you're scared shitless. It's like, it's the anticipation of like, something could happen. It's unlikely that something will, but something could happen. And while you're there, your mind is going to be correlating between like, things. Your mind's going to be more active thinking about like, oh, is that something happening right there? Like you hear a sound and you're like, oh, it could be a ghost. And your brain's going to be thinking about things more and tricking itself into thinking things are paranormal, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, this is also coming from the person that like, I don't like being scared.
I don't...
Roller coaster, like Fairfalls. I don't like going on Fairfalls because I hate that feeling. Everyone's like, it's such a thrill. I'm not a thrill seeker. I enjoy things because they're fun. You're not going to get me wandering through any like haunted houses or some shit.
I don't think I've ever gone on a Fairfall. But do you ever get those dreams where you're falling?
Yeah, they're awful.
And you're going towards the ground and you can feel that like feeling in your stomach and like it kind of like rushes up, and then you're like anticipation, your legs just fucking snapping as you hit the ground. And then you wake up and you're like, "Oh my god, my legs, they're still intact. Thank God."
I've never had it gone that far.
It's like the moment the impact happens.
Dude, no, I had this reoccurring dream where I was in a basketball court. And it sounds so weird. I don't know why. I mean, we don't even have proper basketball courts really in New Zealand. Like, you know, when you think basketball courts in like America, they're like those massive auditoriums, and like we don't really have those here in New Zealand. But like, it was one of those, and I just climbed to the top of the bleachers, stand at the end one, and just jump off.
Oh.
But like everything, like, you know, it's gonna sound really weird, but you know, like Mario when he like falls to the thing and he goes like jumps off. It was kind of that sort of jump. But right before I hit the ground, everything kind of goes slow motion, and it would like fade to black. So like I jump off.
Oh, actually no, I have sort of had that.
Yeah, I jump off. It would like slow mo and fade to black, and I'd wake up, but I'd still get that feeling of like.
I've got two very vivid ones of falling. One was when it was at the old house, and I was probably still quite young, like 7 maybe, and I was on the top bunk bed. Of course I was on the fucking top bunk bed.
When you're 7.
Yeah, and like, it was like I was falling into a void. The dream was me on the bunk bed. But when I rolled off, it was just like a pitch black void. And it didn't last very long because I'd actually fallen off the bed in real life.
Just hit the floor.
So when I was falling into this void and I hit the ground, I woke up like, why am I on the ground?
You're just like, demons, they took me.
And then there was another one where for some reason I had like stupid ass superpowers for some reason. And it just did like a massive fucking jump. Like I was like 200 meters in the air, like just leaping. And I'm like, how do I land this? And it's just me like skyrocketing towards the ground. It's once again, as I said before, like as soon as my feet hit the ground, I came out of the dream. I'm like, fuck.
See, that's why I'll never do skydiving or anything like that. Like, nah.
I don't. No, I haven't really done anything to do with heights for the most part. Like, I just don't find myself in those situations for some reason.
Yeah, no, I had a guy that was interested in me, and he was a skydiver, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll take you skydiving sometime." And I was like, "That sounds like my worst nightmare."
Maybe not.
Yeah, I was like, "Please don't."
Please do not.
But yeah, moving on to the next story. Again, same sort of thing. Daughter, terrible twos. Toddlers, man. Just toddlers. This is why I don't want to, like, I really want to have kids, but at the same time, imagine knowing me, my kid's gonna be one of these kids that like see shit.
It's gonna freak the fuck out.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna be like,
to the orphanage you go.
I'm just gonna be like, well, it's nice knowing you, kid.
Yeah.
But anyway, one day when my daughter was 2, we were having a typical terrible twos moment. She was throwing a tantrum for a bit, 5 to 10 minutes, and we couldn't get her under control. At some point, she rather suddenly stopped and started staring at the wall. She then started giggling lightly. It was weird. 1 second she was crying and screaming, and the next she was smiling and happy. Then she starts saying, "Funny lady," over and over again. We asked her who she saw, and she pointed to the wall and again said, "The funny lady." When we asked her to describe who she saw, she described my deceased grandmother. I mean, exactly described her. She had never met her, and I don't think she'd ever seen a picture of her. Not that a 2-year-old could remember a picture anyway. I'm not much of a believer of the paranormal, but I know for sure that my daughter got a chance to meet my grandmother. When I told the story to my parents, they didn't seem as shocked as I was. When I tried to get a response from them, they looked at me and said, "I guess you don't remember the time you met your deceased grandfather when you were 3. The exact same thing happened to you 30 years ago."
Yeah, that ain't...
I'd be like, yo, what's with the grandparents coming back to meet their grandkids?
Why they come back every time, man? Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, I did. See, with what is your thoughts on mediums? Would you ever go to a medium?
I don't think so, because nowadays there's probably too many methods in which they could cheat you.
Yeah.
So you couldn't fully guarantee. Well, you can never fully guarantee that it's legit, but like more so in the past, you would have been able to. I mean, and I say that people were more ignorant of advances in technology in the past.
I mean,
maybe,
bro, people used to do like magic, and they were like, witchcraft.
Yeah, so maybe not. Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't think I would.
Because,
yeah.
that sort of thing. I feel like if I had one of these experiences, chill. But I don't trust media. I feel like, as much as, like, I'd like to know about what happens in the afterlife, like, there's a reason we don't know. Once you cross that barrier, it's chill. Like, please don't come back to me in my sleep. Please don't, like, message me. Even if it's my own mother, I love my mother to bits, but I swear, if you come to visit me in my sleep,
you better not come back to my ass.
I will yeet myself out of that bed so quick.
You know, it's like people when they talk about stories where like they feel things like sitting on their bed or standing on their bed, and it's like, nah, I ain't about that. Because being woken up to that kind of thing is the worst.
Dude, I've literally, not paranormal, but like my dad's woken me up from my sleep, and I've instantly burst into tears because I was just like, what? Like, it's just the shock.
Yeah, it's very jarring, and it'd be even worse if there's nobody there when it happens. You're like,
You're just like, okay.
It's like, I don't want that.
Oh, man, it's just, nah, I ain't about it.
Yeah, but it was just the kid staring up at the corner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck. It's like when you see dogs and cats and shit looking in the corners of rooms, you're like, what are you doing?
Or like our house when they're just like staring down the hallway, and you're like,
yeah, you're like,
wait.
What are you up to? Don't do that.
Especially because the only thing down our hallway is all our bedrooms.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's like, what's down there? Sick.
You know.
So that was kind of the end of, you know, the children's section.
Children.
That sounds so bad. I'm like, the children's section.
I don't want to be
awful.
Anywhere near any children's sections, okay? I don't want to be dubbed as something I ain't.
Oh, man. Yeah, I had to go there.
Yeah,
But,
I definitely had to go there.
this is the second section is Ouija boards. Also, how do you say it? I mean, it's spelled
Ouija.
weird. Sometimes I say Ouija
boards.
because it's spelled like J-A. So sometimes I say Ouija.
Yeah,
but
Luigi boards.
Luigi.
No, it's just Ouija, I'm pretty sure.
It's me, I'm Mario.
Shut mouth.
But yeah, Ouija boards. Like, oh man. But anyway, we'll get to that after the story. So this is from I can't remember the actual site, but it says news. So like this was like a Reader's Digest sort of like people like reported these stories in.
Right, and then they were just like catalogued by a journalist or something.
Into like a magazine or whatever.
Yeah.
So it says, I was at a samba party in 8th grade. I don't know what the conversion of that is. I think that's like year 9 or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
You probably know better than me.
So, probably when you're like 14, 15, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
With a few of my friends when we decided, stupidly, to have a seance in her unfinished basement.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I'm definitely not about that.
Great starts. We were having fun and giggling as we were trying to figure out who to summon when someone suggested that we talk to Jack the Ripper, a serial killer from the late 1800s.
Why would you pick that? That's like people going into the bathroom saying Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. It's like, why would you pick the worst thing? Pick a non-malicious ghost, if anything.
Yeah, pick your grandmother. Clearly they love to visit.
Yeah, and then your grandma comes in and she's like, I fucking hated you.
Honestly, probs.
No, that would be bad.
So we decided to summon Jack the Ripper, and I immediately got a pit in my stomach. No, I spoke up. We shouldn't summon something that evil. That's right. A man's voice called from the other side of the cellar. There were no boys or men in there. We were home alone. He's already here.
In all the ghost stories and stuff, like it seems like there's a lot of effort people have to go to actually summon something or make something show up. The story's just like, yo bitch, what up?
Yeah, they're just like, oh my god, who should we summon? Oh my god, Jack the Ripper would be so funny. And he's like, already here.
Yo, I reckon any of them died later on in life for suspicious causes? Or is that what it's called?
Well, okay, this is the thing with Ouija board. This is why I will never, and I mean never, you will never get me anywhere near a Ouija board. Like,
no, I don't think so either. They're just a bit too dodgy for me.
I'll watch YouTube videos. This is the thing. I like learning about the paranormal and things like that, but there's no way in hell I'm going to... too much bad juju. I don't need that on me.
Yeah, I wouldn't ever perform any form of seance, Ouija board, or anything. I wouldn't mind going into, like, supposedly haunted locations, but I'm not going to do any sort of ritual, you know? Because that's where you're crossing the line, I think. And it's like, yeah, you're really stepping into something you might not know about if it is, like, true, you know?
Like, even in high school, do you remember the Charlie Challenge?
I think so, yeah.
It was, for those of you that don't know, it was when you'd have like a bit of paper, you'd section it into 4 sections, you'd write yes in one corner, no in the other, no in the other. You'd have to cross 2 pencils and you'd say, Charlie, are you there? And then supposedly the pencils would move. When you call on a spirit, you have to tell them to leave, because if you don't, they just hang around. So you could just be like, oh yeah, that was cool, bye. The spirit's still there. And that's what a lot of people don't know. You have to tell the spirit to leave. Yeah,
because it's like when people say that when spirits are summoned, they attach to something, don't they? If they're not, like, yeeted away, if they're not...
Yeah, so like if you imagine it as like your house, and the spirits are all outside your door or whatever, using the Ouija board or whatever, that's you opening the door. They come in, and if you don't say, I get out, they're just going to be chilling in your house, and they're like, okay, this is nice.
It's like when you're too afraid to tell somebody to fuck off if they've been hanging out with you for like 6 hours. You're like, I really just want to go do something else right now, but I don't want to be rude and tell you to go away.
And that friend also has like no social cues of when to leave.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, this podcast is over. I guess I'll head out.
Yep.
But yeah, like a lot of people just don't know to tell those things to leave, so they're like, oh, that was so scary, and then, you know, stuff happens to them like later on in life, and you're like, well, the spirit's been following you around for 20 years.
Mm.
But knowing me, just because the type of person I am, I'd say goodbye and that spirit would still just be like, nah.
Nah, you bitch. I'm staying.
Yeah, they'd be like, you called me here, I ain't leaving.
They're comfy.
Yeah. It's pretty nice up in here. So, like, I will never, ever use any sort of, like, Ouija board or anything like that.
Yeah, nah.
It's just too dodgy.
It's just too dodgy, yeah. Honestly, like, it's... Like I said, it's the line you just don't want to cross, I think.
Yeah, nah.
Unless you're a professional, but I don't know what a professional means in that.
Bro, have you seen this new series on the Discovery Channel? I haven't seen it, but it's called Finding the Portal to Hell or something like that. They literally just go around doing seances and everywhere.
See, that's what you shouldn't be doing.
It's like literally called like Finding the Portal to Hell or something. Like, even if you don't believe in that, if you've heard stories of like heaven and hell, whatever, what makes you go, oh yeah, let's find the gateway to hell? Like, it doesn't sound like a good time. What are you going to achieve by, like, let's say it's real. Let's say you find a portal to the depths of fiery hell. What then? Like, you're not going to be like, yeah, party.
Yeah, it's not like... I think most people on Earth could agree that you don't want to completely rule out, you know, it being a possibility, because with all the civilizations in the past and present and stuff, they've probably got some form of, like, you know, like, cultural belief or spiritual belief or something religious, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Along the lines where there is bad shit and good shit in some sort of way. And you don't want to fuck with the bad shit.
Yeah.
For the most part. And it's just like... Maybe leave it on your mind, you know, not go near that.
Yeah, like, this is a full-on, like, documentary, so this had to go through, like, producers and directors, and there's a whole so there's at least, like, 100 people who are like, aight, let's turn this into a show.
You know, bruh. You know.
Like, what were any of them thinking? Not one person was like, maybe not.
They're just mad. They just want to die.
Oh, man. So the second story we have, nice short one, still on the same topic of Ouija boards and things like that. It says, when I was in college, a group of friends and I were playing with a Ouija board in our dorm room and asked the spirit to give us a sign that it was in the room. Moments after, the plant that was hanging over the window crashed onto the floor and the blinds had smudged handprints all down them.
That's another one of the things.
No.
Where I was talking about before, where like different types of spiritual beings, they'll have different ways of communicating with people, you know, like using things as a medium, you know, but like not a person, but physical objects. And one of them is like fingerprints, you know, and shit, and obviously poltergeist, you know, moving shit around the room. And it's like,
But is every single poltergeist a bad spirit?
Nah.
Can you have nice poltergeists? They're like, I just arranged these flowers for you.
I don't think so, because what if it's just like a mischievous spirit, you know? Just like a child. The child is like, yeah, fuck your toys.
But in real life, have you met like not a bad kid, but just a mischievous kid? They still piss you off.
Oh yeah.
I
would still sock one in the face. If it was legal, if it was legal, that is. Let me add that.
Yeah, I would drop kick a child, just like yeet.
If the law allowed it.
Oh man, but I mean, yeah, but that's the thing. Also, can you choose what ghost you summon? Can you, like, if you're playing with a Ouija board, can you just be like, "Hey, we're only accepting nice ghosts at this time.
Only hiring poltergeists. Sorry.
Yeah, please wait your turn, demonic."
Yeah, no, I don't think you would be able to.
So like. And that's the thing. I feel like there would be more of a chance of getting an evil spirit than a good one. Because what good spirit is just hanging out like, oh, these people want to say hello?
Yeah, it seems like the common theory is that usually spirits, like, they hang around on Earth because they've got unfinished business.
Yeah.
And usually unfinished business entails they've got some bad stuff, you know, like... They want to hit somebody, or they hate somebody, or they want to deal with them, you know.
Yeah. But mind you, have you seen the movie with Ricky Gervais? I don't remember what it's called, but he dies and he gets brought back to life and he starts seeing ghosts.
I think so.
Yeah, a lot of their all the ghosts that he sees, like one of them, their business is like this guy's daughter lost the teddy bear that reminds her of him, and he knows where it is, and so he tells Ricky Gervais to like go to their house and says, hey, like the toy's in the car.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like most of them would be bad though if that were the case.
Yeah.
Because people are like, I hate this fucking cunt. Or
Yeah.
somebody gets murdered, you know, or something like that. Or they get set up, framed, put in prison, you know, and they die in prison. Something along those lines. They're coming back.
Oh, yeah.
It's like if like fucking Alcatraz is supposed to be a really fucking haunted place.
Have you been to Alcatraz? I've been to Alcatraz.
I haven't left New Zealand, my dude.
Really?
I haven't been to the South Island.
Dude! I mean, I can't speak. I literally went to the South Island for like the first time in 2018 for a week, and then I literally only went back this year. And I mean, the South Island is what, an hour ferry away, like from Wellington.
You know, I haven't even been on a plane. I've been on a helicopter though, so that was kind of
I've never
gangster.
been on a helicopter, but you're 20. No, you're 19.
Well, sorry, you don't have money to go on planes.
You pleb. No, but Alcatraz, I got locked in one of the isolation chambers.
Oh, hell yeah.
And, dude, like, I mean, I wasn't locked in. They just shut the door and they were like, this is how dark it is. I like, my parents were out there and, like, so was the entire tour. And, I mean, I had headphones on with, like, the guided tour and whatever. But literally just standing in that dark room, because it's all concrete as well, so it's cold. So you've just got this cold chill in a, like, probably the size of your room, like, area, and it's pitch black. And you can kind of hear people moving outside, but not really. And I feel like that's so much worse. Like, civilization is so close, and you're just locked in this chamber. And they say that prisoners, when they went into those chambers, they'd be locked for, like, a week at a time.
Yeah, I mean, Alcatraz was a pretty fucking nasty place, though, because when did Alcatraz close? Like, it was...
Pretty recently. I think it was when I say recently, I mean like in the last century.
The 1900s.
Yeah, I think it was 1940s actually.
Yeah, I got a fucking computer here. That's
Wow. Let's get some Google. Wow, look at your gamer keyboard with your clickety clackety keys.
Yeah, Alcatraz close. March 21st, 1963.
Oh, I was a bit
I did
off.
not say 3 properly.
Arnold Schwarzenegger shot a movie there. What, didn't he?
Did he? I wouldn't fucking know.
I'm probably talking about the wrong actor, actually, but I know there was a movie shot there. Probably completely different actor, but they used the court set. But it's also an island, off of San Francisco.
Yeah.
You can see the whole coast. Imagine being a prisoner there. You know, in there for murder, whatever, coke transaction, who knows. But you're in there for probably life, and literally like I'd probably say like a 20-minute swim, not gonna lie. Like, it is a bit of a way to swim, but like that far away swim, you can see the entire population of San Francisco.
Yeah. It wouldn't be exactly great for your brain.
Yeah,
you know,
like
or
how
your mentality.
daunting. And they said that like on New Year's Eve and things like that, like obviously the fireworks and things would be going off in the city, and they're just on this tiny little island. Just like, I wouldn't be surprised if people tried to like jump off the side, but that's the thing, you couldn't either because it's all like gated in. I have a video on Alcatraz, actually. Check out my YouTube channel. I am Genevieve.
Shut the hell up.
I have a video
yourself.
when I went to... I am, you know what? I'm going to. I have a video of when I went to Alcatraz, and it's so... In the cell blocks, they're like 3 stories tall and like hundreds of rows.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like, it's really close, and it's like, you know, it's open in the middle, and like you can see everything, and it's like, oh.
And like Al Capone's cell is like really nice.
Oh, what a surprise
compared to everyone else's. Yeah. But I mean, you know, he was the big bad boy,
the mob boss or something. That's what they call him, right?
Something like that. I mean, he did a lot in his lifetime, didn't he?
Sure fucking did.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. But moving on to the last story I have for not seances, what are Ouija boards. This one's a bit of a long-in, but I mean also not too long, but just longer compared to the other 2 that we had. So this one's called Moving Skulls. Sick, right?
Moving skulls.
Yeah.
Doesn't even sound ominous. It kind of sounds stupid, to be honest.
Yeah, you're It's just like those clown heads.
Living skulls. It was like I was looking at a ghost story before, and like the ghost is called Skeletor, and I'm like,
Skeletor.
Do you not know what Skeletor is?
I feel like
You
I've
know
heard
the Adventures of He-Man? I think it's
Yeah.
He-Man. Hey-Man. And it's like, you know, and there's that like skeleton in the
Yeah.
cartoon. It's like, you know?
Oh man, they always give like scary things like the boogeyman.
Yeah, sometimes it's just fucking
Oh, my cousins
stupid.
used to do that to me. They used to like scare us, being like, "Oh, the boogeyman." Because I mean, this was back in like 2006 sort of thing, like when you could still go out at night and it was like okay.
Alrighty.
And like she used to live in a cul-de-sac, so we'd be like biking around the cul-de-sac. It'd be like 9 p.m, so it was like pitch black, and she would be like, "Oh, do you hear that noise?" Like it was the boogeyman.
What a cunt.
Yeah, and I was like 6 as well, so I was like, whatever. Actually, like crapping myself on the inside.
I think me and my brother and I did that a little bit. We kind of bounced off each other, trying to scare each other, but we didn't do it that often. You know?
Yeah. But it's always like you try and be the big man. You're like, oh yeah, whatever. Like inside, you're like bricking it.
I don't want to be here. Can we walk a bit faster?
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes. Anyway, to the story. So, my fiance at the time. I also wonder. It starts with my fiance at the time. Are they married or are they split now? That's what I really want to know.
That's the real interesting
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
And was it the story that split them?
Perhaps it was.
My fiance at the time and I were sitting on my bed with an old board that a friend found on the side of the road. We asked who was with us, and it said Mo. I asked, "Are you an angel, spirit, or a demon?" He said, "A demon by your creation." We were a bit freaked out, but we kept going. We asked more simple questions like, "How many are with you?" He said, 7. "What is your favourite poster that I have on my wall?" It replied, "Bloody mess." I pointed at a kiss photo I had of Gene Simmons with his tongue out while blood was everywhere around his mouth. "This one?" I asked. It replied, "Yes." After a few more questions, I asked him to move my skeleton heads I had positioned on my TV, because I wanted to know if this was real or fake. Mo replied, "Close your eyes." And after a few seconds went by, all my skeleton heads were now on the floor, facing us.
Now, right at the start, did you say they were communicating through a board, was it? Or something?
Yeah. Through
Yeah.
It says with an old board that our friend found on the side of the road. So clearly someone had already played with this board and they were like, yeah, nah, tried to throw it out and they've been like, yeet.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of latched on. I wasn't paying attention more towards the second half, but I kind of latched on to like, of your own creation or demons of your own creation. It's 7. I'm like, this kind of sounds like a fabricated story because it kind of sounds like 7 deadly sins, you know? Fabrication of your, demons of your fabrication. It's like, yeah, I don't know. See, it could be spooky or it'd be like, it sounds too, specific.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's like one of those Reddit stories where you're like,
Yeah, it seems a bit too good to be true, you know?
It's always funny when you've got like the people who believe everything and then the people who believe nothing. They're like, I don't know. And then the people who believe everything are like, that's so spooky.
God, I love being a skeptic. Hell yeah.
Like you could have just a ghost show up in front of you and you're like, special effects.
You're a fucking hologram, cunt. Honestly.
Oh man. Literally like, yeah. It also ends with, how the hell could that be faked? We were the only 2 in my room at the time.
Because the story's fake.
Because you want to end it up on a Reddit post.
You want those upvotes, my dude. Updoots.
Man, I'm literally only just starting to get into Reddit, and it's actually it's pretty funny, but like still half of me just doesn't really understand. I'm gonna watch like Reddit videos of people checking out their own Reddits because like I don't understand. I need someone to do it for me, man.
I just look at memes for the most part.
You're just a meme lord.
No, I'm not. It's a sad day.
You wish you were the meme lord.
I'm weak. My memes are weak. Oh, actually, that might be taken a bit too far, but nah.
Did you appreciate the meme I sent to you yesterday? It's
It
about
was-
like yeeting a child.
It was alright. It was a mid-level. It was a mid-level,
Quality.
It was a bit too Facebook meme for my liking.
I did grab it from Facebook.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Fuck, I'm talking like I'm some sort of elite or something. But I'm just a
You're
retard.
I only sip the quality memes.
Yeah, let's not say that. Rather not sound like a twat.
I think you better stop speaking then.
Roast it! Thank you for that. Very cool.
I mean, yeah, you just gotta, like, bring it back down by saying roasted, and then it's just, like, all obsolete. But anyway, point being, that's all I have for my stories. Now I have, like, a kind of... I wasn't gonna bring this up first of all, because the first time I read it, I was like, this is so dumb. But then I got, like, 4 other articles about this, and I was like, okay, clearly this is, like, a well-known thing.
It's something.
Yeah, it's a very talked-about thing, because they were all
Right.
from, like, different sites when I googled different things, and I was like, okay. So... It says the time someone got shot dead as a ghost in Hammersmith.
Hold on. Now, there's some red flags in that title in a weird way. Like,
Let me just repeat that. The time someone got shot. Oh, no, it's the time someone shot a ghost dead. Yeah, in Hammersmith.
who the fuck's shooting at ghosts? This isn't fucking like Supernatural or something, this show. Yeah, just somebody's got like some fucking like iron bullets or something. Bat, bat, just, you know, like letting the 40 bang out the side of the car, you know? Like, what the hell?
Oh, man. So this is like, it's quite a long article, but I'll try and paraphrase it.
That would be ideal.
Yeah, me just reads this.
Honestly,
entire
I've been
news
losing
article.
focus when you've been speaking about the stories. I'm like, yep.
I mean, you have like a 2-second focus. You're like goldfish have a longer focus than you.
Yeah, perhaps.
So we'll try and break this up more, like, instead of me telling a story and then we react later, we'll try and, dissect it bit by bit. So it says it was an
Yep, you good there?
So we'll try. I'll just try and read again. It was an extremely dark night, January 1804. So this is like quite an old story. And it says some people in Hammersmith were feeling uneasy. For the past 3 months, local residents had been reporting multiple sightings of a ghost around the area. It says the Hammersmith ghost had first been spotted on November 1803. This spectre wasn't content with merely floating around West London. It was supposedly attacking people. Several claiming to be having like grabbed by the ghost around a churchyard. Some thought it was the spirit of a man who had killed himself and whose spirit could not lie at rest. Descriptions of its appearance are varied, but most state it was a tall man who wore a white sheet. And the best thing I love about this is that, read that caption right there.
Basically, what the Hammersmith ghost would have looked like. It's literally, obviously you can't see it. It's literally just like a kid in a sheet for a Halloween costume. Like the thing you see on like cartoons and shit. It's like, oh, it's a Halloween episode, and it's like a kid shows up to the door, and it's like a fucking vampire or something else.
It's that poor kid that couldn't afford a costume.
Yeah, it's the poor kid who couldn't afford a costume. It's just a white sheet with some holes in it. It's like, is this where the sheet for a ghost thing came from?
I don't know. That's what I tried to find, but I don't know. But basically, if you've been on like TikTok in any recent like past months, like for Halloween, that's what everyone was doing. They were like drawing black eyes on their sheets and they were doing photo shoots. Like that's literally what this uses as a reference photo for this ghost.
I got a bit concerned when you said drawing black and then you said eyes, and I'm like, okay, they're not. I got a little concerned for a second. I thought I was gonna go somewhere else for a second, like.
bit dodge.
Yeah.
But it says literally the next part is a mysterious tablecloth.
Whoa, spooky.
And it says, however, some were skeptical that this ghost was everything it had claimed to be. Not at least one witness allegedly. He said that allegedly the ghost had been seen discarding a white tablecloth before running off into the night. But I don't know.
But if the tablecloth is gone, how did they see the ghost? Checkmate.
Oh, basically. But it still said, still many locals remain sufficiently unnerved by the possibility of a supernatural presence haunting Hammersmith. People had the jitters.
The jitters.
The jitters.
Yeah, that's some that's some solid evidence right there. Not circumstantial, technically it is, but anyway. Yeah.
It says
definitely solid.
White clothes also happen to be the garments most often worn by bricklayer Thomas Millwood. This also hadn't gone unnoticed. A few people had previously been startled when encountering him at night. His wife had even asked him to wear something else as she thought it might scare people unnecessarily. But Millwood insisted on maintaining the same outfit, but no one could have predicted what happened next.
Whose man's this laying bricks at night?
Yeah. I know, right? He's just like, yo.
Why he's got to have another outfit than the fucking work outfit. Like,
yeah. But maybe that's why he wore white, is because he worked like late into the night, so he wanted to be seen. Like, because I mean, this is in like 1804, before people had like reflective gear and things like that.
No, but if you think about it, why would they be working
by candlelight?
Yeah, by fucking candlelight. There's no, I don't know when fucking electricity was invented, but it definitely wasn't.
I was gonna say like 1903, but that seems really late. No, it was like 1703, wasn't it? Something. I don't know. I'm gonna sound really thick here. But you know what?
Once again, there's a computer in front of me.
Let us know. Wait,
I'll
what
just
did you
say when were light bulbs, at least? When were light bulbs?
It's something 03, I'm pretty sure.
You're 03.
Nice. Oh.
Yeah. I was going to say, it seemed a bit too...
1879.
Yeah, 1879.
So literally before light bulbs. So yeah, they were working by candlelight. Yeah, at this point.
I was like, 1800 seems a bit too early for light bulbs.
Yeah, and then it said reports of a ghost on the prowl had also led to ghost hunters on March. Oh, it says on the March. Okay. An adult version.
Wow.
What a good meme.
Fuck, you're a boomer. Damn.
Good meme. But on January the 3rd, local man Francis Smith, always the bloody Smiths, decided he was going...
Is something against Smiths?
Dude, it's like the most common name for like... Well, I mean, in England, yes, but like every time something goes wrong, it's like something Smith.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
I don't know what sort of Smiths you've been dealing with, but I don't think I've met a single person with... Wait,
we don't live in England.
Mind. Yeah, I know, but still... We used to be an English colony, though. You'd think we'd have more Smiths.
Yeah.
My line of reasoning is correct. Thank you.
Well, I've got the most unusual last name. I'm like the last person you should be asking.
You bitch.
Anyway, point being, Francis Smith decided he was going to go ghost hunting, basically, and took a shotgun with him.
Yeah, that's not a good move.
Because when I think ghost hunting, I don't think, electrical fields and like things like that. I think shotgun is going to work for an entity.
Maybe some salt, maybe what other sort of crucifix maybe?
Yeah. Nah, he took a shotgun, mate.
I can't think of many other anti-ghost things.
Bro, you can't make this stuff up because it's just so dumb. And it says, just as Millwood, which is the bricklayer, was making his way home.
What?
It's just as he was making his way home late at night by Blackline Lane, Smith, who had had a few ales at this point, spotted him.
Oh no!
So he'd been at Blackline Lane pub, had a few bevies, and decided to go ghost hunting.
Oh my gosh!
And sees Millwood all dressed in white, which is the same as the supposed Hammersmith ghost. Like, so literally some drunk guys.
I know it's the 1800s, but who allowed this drunk man to carry a shotgun? Oh wait, the Wild West was a thing.
Yeah, but this is in England though.
True, but it's still that kind of time period where people are like, yeah, I've got myself like 12 drinks and
so he's gotten drunk, gone ghost hunting, spotted Millwood, says, "Who are you and what are you?" and then shot him.
Bro, you didn't even wait from the answer. He's bang.
He just wants to like turn around. He's like, no, it's all good, Chapman. Boom.
He says to the authorities, he's like, yeah, I asked him.
Oh yeah, that's.
I confirmed if he was.
No, that's the one thing I forgot to mention in my paraphrasing. Smith was a police officer. He was part of the force.
That makes it a lot worse. I think.
Yeah, that's what I missed in my paraphrasing. He was part of the force.
What the fuck?
So it says, it quickly became clear the victim was no ghost, and he was taken to the inn, but it was already too late. Upon, he was taken to the morgue, but what's the guy that checks over dead people? The
Coroner.
coroner. The coroner says that he was shot straight through the mouth and the bullet exited the back of the neck. So he was like dunzo.
Bullet?
Yeah.
It's a shotgun.
Well, you know what? The round, whatever. Point being, you know what I mean.
Yes, I know what I mean. Sorry. Yeah.
Smith confessed to shooting Millwood, but said he had genuinely believed him to be a ghost.
Okay, yeah. He can see the fucking body.
Yeah.
Okay.
The jury had to answer the curious question, is saying you thought someone was a supernatural being a defense against murder?
It can't be. It cannot be.
And this is the reason why I chose this story. This verdict has been running for the past 180 years.
Oh my god.
Like, they've now passed a law because it says the case would take another turn when a man named John Graham came forward claiming to have been responsible for at least one of the ghost sightings because he basically, some of his workmates had told ghost stories to his children, so he dressed up as a ghost one night to scare the men. So he was like pretending to be one of the ghosts anyway.
Right, yeah.
Which started the whole thing, apparently.
Right.
And there has been a case running for 180 years on whether if you believe someone is a supernatural being and you shoot them, does it go under self-defense?
No, I think at least in that case, it's at least manslaughter.
It's funny you say that.
Because, yeah, no, I think it would be at least manslaughter. Because if you think it's a paranormal being, then you're shooting something with the intent that it's not an actual human, or you cannot identify the human. So you haven't planned to kill this person.
Yeah.
You know, you're scared of something, but it turns out it's a human. So, you're still killing somebody, but you didn't really intend to, in a weird way, I would say.
That's exactly what happened. The judge had to answer the question, and they said that, they believed it's not, it is self-defense kind of. So they said that they came back with a verdict of manslaughter rather than murder. But the judge wasn't happy with that, so they were like, you have to deliberate again, either convict him or, clear all charges. So they convicted him, and he was instantly sentenced to death. But then a year later, his sentence was reduced. No, sorry, his sentence was then reduced to only a year in prison, and then hard labor. So he shot a man who he thought was a ghost, and he was just sentenced to hard labor.
I mean, it's a little bit. Well, I don't know what the manslaughter laws were like back then in Britain, But if you think about it, the guy was also drunk. So it's like
thing,
even then, it's more so manslaughter, I would say. Even if it was a person you shot, I think it'd be manslaughter because he
but if
was
someone
drunk.
gets drunk now and shoots someone, is it manslaughter?
Fuck. If they mistakenly shot them, if somebody got drunk and they had a previous, what is it? They didn't like somebody, let's say, and they got drunk, and being intoxicated made them decide to shoot somebody that they were thinking about shooting, then I think that would be murder.
But, some people, they're like, oh man, I got so drunk, I don't remember what happened last night. You don't remember what happened. You've, gone and shot someone when you're drunk, because when you're drunk, you can still kind of, figure out what you're doing. But then the next morning, you're like, what happened?
Well, I don't
then
know
what?
about you, I've never had that.
Neither have I, but
I've never shot somebody while drunk. Weirdly enough.
Shit. But yeah, to wrap that up, it just says, meanwhile, the tale of the Hammersmith ghost and the unfortunate case of Millwood and Smith would go on to be enshrined on a plaque outside the Black Lion pub, where it can still be seen today.
See, that was an actual interesting story.
Yeah.
That was kind of
See,
cursed.
at first it was, really dumb, because I was just like, oh, somebody was dressed as a sheet and shot someone. But then the more articles I got of it, I was like,
It's very odd. Wait, you said he went to hard labor. How long was he in prison for?
A year. He was sentenced to a year in prison, and then
he should have been there for way
community service.
longer.
Yeah,
He should have been there for since.
I feel like
Since
if
it
you
was-
take
since it was-
another life,
I reckon-
a life for a life, if you take a life, you should be in for life.
If it's murder, then yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Manslaughter, I don't.
Oh, yeah,
I
no,
don't think so.
manslaughter's a bit different. But
Manslaughter, I think it depends on the kind of manslaughter. If it's like a car accident
yeah,
and you hit somebody and you kill them because you were just fucking being dumb and wasn't paying attention, I don't think you should have quite as long a sentence, maybe like 10 years.
yeah,
But if you're like intoxicated and you hit somebody drunk driving, like you're definitely at fault there. I think that's like 30 years.
yeah,
You know, it kind of depends whether you're at fault or like if it's neglect of a child, that's like fucking 40 years.
yeah.
40, 50 years because you're just a cunt. You know?
Well, that's the thing. Like, how many people? The movie. Let's not just go with it. I can't remember what it's called now. But same thing. Person gets taken out by a drunk driver. Both parents get killed. Left with a toddler. Thankfully, they have people to take the toddler over. But like, then that toddler's just like, you know, into the system. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's all.
we've gone from ghost stories to manslaughter rules.
Nah, I mean it's correlation. It's related somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can get like it's like Chinese whispers. You can get so off track by correlations.
Yes.
Hey, this is the ZeroFunction podcast. No brain cells are ever used.
That is true. That is true. I shouldn't be allowed to have a microphone.
Oh, neither of us should be.
Yeah.
I guess that is a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah, because we've just hit what, an hour?
Exactly.
It's a good amount of time, I would fucking say.
I think that is a solid start to the ZeroFunction podcast. I almost forgot our name for a second.
Test episode. Who knows if this will actually come out? I doubt it. There's probably some issues I'll find when I go over this in a second.
If there's zero issues, we might at least upload some clips. I reckon there was some good parts.
Yeah, the quality can't be that bad.
Yeah, we
I would
like
think.
we read it back and it's all just like
It's just like a
pitched,
fucking. There's
yeah.
like a huge echo or something, or it's just like screams the whole time. Just like a feedback loop. It's like, oh, that wouldn't be great.
But anyway, you know, just in case this does make it out, like, subscribe, comment down below what you want us to talk about, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Will we?
Will we do this again? Just one test episode, and then we're like,
Yeah.
that
Well,
was a lot.
got these fucking microphones in my room now.
Yeah.
Yippee.
So you have to put up with this now. I just kind of show up, do my bit, and leave.
Yep. Well, anyway,
Catch you later.
be gone. No, it's